Good morning, one and all. I hope you all are fine in this pandemic situation. And yes, due to this pandemic situation, we are having online lectures, and we have done three lectures on this foundation course in English, that is compulsory English for SYBA. The first topic which we chose in the syllabus was voices. Okay, every language we have studied that every language has a structure, that is subject plus verb plus object. Okay, example, Sita goes to school. So here Sita is the subject and school is the object, while the verb is goes. Okay, and this subject or object decides whether the sentence is active or passive. Active voice when the subject is at the beginning of the sentence, okay, and object is at the end of the sentence, that is then this type of sentence is called an active voice sentence. Okay, so the structure would be subject plus verb plus object, which is the general pattern of an English language. Example, Vijay sells toys. My uncle built a new house last year and you were drawing a picture at that time. In passive voice it is totally inverse. Okay, the sentence which starts with an object and ends with a subject, that is called passive voice sentence. Okay, the sentence structure would be object plus verb in the past form plus by plus subject. For example, Vijay sells toys. Okay, so here Vijay is at the subject or at the starting of the sentence. So when we will change it into passive voice, the Vijay will come at the last. So toys are sold by Vijay. We have studied this. As likewise, a new house was built last year by my uncle and a picture was being drawn by you at that time. Then we have discussed the transformation of sentences of in different types of sentences. That is, first one was declarative, means what, the simple sentences. Okay, which directly gives us the idea about the tense, subject, object, etc, etc. Then we discussed about the interrogative sentences of different tenses. Okay, then we have discussed about the imperative sentence. Imperative means what, the sentences which have order, request, command in it. So these are called the imperative sentences. And we have also seen that the sentences when changed into passive voice, then the word let is added in the sentence at the beginning of the sentence. For example, call the doctor immediately. So when it is changed in the passive voice, then it will be let the doctor be called immediately. Okay, keep silence please. So please is the request, it is in the request form. Okay, so we can also write like this: you are requested to keep silence. Okay, don't smoke here means what, it is not allowed to smoke here. So the sentence in if we change into passive voice, it would be you are not allowed to smoke here. Okay, so these are some of the imperative sentences. Now we come with sentences with double objects. Double objects means what, the sentences which are having two objects in its sentence. Okay, let us study this with the example only. My aunt offered me a cup of tea. You have to deal this type of sentences very keenly. બહુ ધ્યાનથી તમારે આ સેન્ટેન્સીસ જોવાના છે અને એને ચેન્જ કરવાની ટ્રાય કરવાની છે. Here my aunt is the subject. As we said earlier, we should first decide what type of tense is there in the sentence. My aunt offered me a cup of tea means what, offered, simple past tense. Okay, so first thing is completed. Now the second thing is we have to decide the subject, verb and object of the sentence. So it becomes easy to change it into passive voice because the object will come at the first place and the subject will go at the end of the sentence. Okay, so my aunt is the subject, offered is the verb and me and a cup of tea, both are the objects. Okay, because offered me, yes, it is also object 1, we can say it object 1, and a cup of tea is also known as the object, so we can mention here object 2. Now this type of sentences we can change it into two ways. Okay, how we can change it into two ways? Because we are having two type of objects in it, we can change it by any of the object as the first place. But remember, if we take object 1 at the beginning of the sentence, then object 2 should remain at the last of the sentence. Okay, so we don't have to skip any of the object. Okay, now let us change it into passive voice. First of all, we are taking a cup of tea as an object. Okay, so a cup of tea was offered. Why was? Because it is in a past form. So was offered to me by my aunt. Okay, to me by my aunt, because my aunt is the subject and it should be at the end of the sentence. Okay, and to me should also be used because it is one of the object of the sentence. Okay, likewise, if we take me as the prime object means what? The object which is supposed to be at the first place. Okay, then me will change into I, because it is in the starting of the sentence. I was offered a cup of tea by my aunt. Okay, so sentence with double objects should be changed very keenly. Let us take one more example. She has promised him a bicycle. Okay, she has promised him a bicycle. Has promised, past perfect tense. Okay, so sorry, present perfect tense, it is a present perfect tense sentence. Then she is the subject, has promised or promised is the verb, and him and bicycle is object. Now let us take a bicycle at the beginning. A bicycle, now it is perfect tense sentence, so been is used. A bicycle has been promised to him by her. By her, because she is at the beginning of the sentence in active voice. When it will come at the end of the sentence, it will be by her. Now if we take him as the prime object, then the sentence would be he was promised a bicycle by her. Okay, so let us discuss it one more time. When there are double objects in a sentence and one subject in its sentence, then we have to change it any of the object taking at the first place. Okay, if we want to uh, take one object at the first or at the beginning of the sentence, then we should not remove the second object in the sentence. We have also to add it in a sentence, and likewise the subject will be at the last place. Okay, for example, again we are taking my aunt offered me a cup of tea. A cup of tea. Okay, the object a cup of tea is at the first place. A cup of tea was offered to me by my aunt. Likewise, if we take me as the prime object, I was offered a cup of tea by my aunt. Okay, so this type of sentences will be there, and it is not so that you have to take object 1 only at the first place or object 2 only at the first place. You can take any of the object at the first place. So these are some of the examples. Now we are having many more types of sentences to be converted, but we will keep up to this and we will discuss the later in the next lecture. But yes, don't forget to practice this sentences as it is like maths. Grammar is like maths. If you don't uh, practice, you will not get it, and you will, if you will not get it, you will say મને english નથી આવડતું. Okay, and believe me, english is not a tough language, it is easy only. But the thing is, you have to try, you have to speak. But the thing is, we are not doing this thing only. Okay, and still we are complaining the same thing, મને નથી આવડતું. Okay, so uh, please do practice it at home. Take examples from the google and try to solve it. Okay, and don't forget to comment your name and roll number in the comment section. Okay, so see ya in the next lecture. Thank you.